News!
Okay, we'll start with this. The ongoing situation in the women's featherweight division, how Sky Nicolson herself seems to be targeting an Amanda Serrano fight, undisclosed time frame.
And while Sky may be targeting Amanda, Tiara Brown from right here in the US of A, she's targeting Sky.
Tiara Brown, who says, "You reply to everyone but me. You make me laugh. I don't get why people tag me in conversations about you because it's so pointless and evident you purposely don't mention me. It's cool. Easy work. Anyway,
A few thoughts.
Tiara Brown would likely beat Sky Nicolson here today. If Tiara Brown were Sky Nicholson's next fight, in all likelihood, Tiara would prove to be too much for her. Sky Nicholson has only been a professional boxer for a little over a year.
That kind of flies low under the radar given her activity rate, that she's only been a pro for about a year, a little over that, and she's racked up a good amount of fights so far.
But she hasn't been a professional that long.
She's been a pro boxer for under 2 years.
Tiara Brown, on the other hand, has been a professional boxer for 7 years. That's 7 years worth of fights, 7 years worth of training camps, more maturated as a fighter in every department.
Unbeaten.
Sky doesn't address Tiara Brown directly because Tiara, whilst being an unbeaten up-and-comer, a promising one, she doesn't have anything that Sky needs, anything that Sky wants, whereas Amanda, being this division's only champion, she has no choice but to target her. If she wants an alphabet title, that's who she has to go through.
No two ways about it.
It's not a fight that I think Sky is ready for. In truth, I think it would take some time before Sky develops the necessary chops to compete in a fight like that.
There's nothing wrong with that, by the way. She hasn't been a pro that long. She needs to develop.
Though in developing, when you're calling out names like Amanda Serrano, you leave yourself open for criticism. If you think you're ready for Amanda, then surely you're ready for Tiara.
That's the problem.
Sky isn't ready for either Amanda or Tiara. Though if Sky insists on targeting Amanda Serrano, what she should do is fight some common opponents with Amanda. Somebody like a Sarah Mahfoud, maybe 1 or 2 fights from now. Sarah Mahfoud, who will be returning to action very soon opposite the ring Italy's own Veronica Tosi.
Sky should go see if she can fight Sarah Mahfoud afterwards, sometime later on this year.
Or perhaps Nina Menke after Nina's next fight. She's got a fight coming up against an opponent that has yet to be announced. Nina Menke, a southpaw, like Sky Nicolson, who's been around the block with some very good fighters. These are sensible and sensical fights for Sky to continue to develop en route to an Amanda Serrano fight.
Sky is one of several unbeaten up-and-comers in the women's featherweight division. That proliferation of talent I talk about all the time. Karis Ardingstall, Sophie Elish, Raven Chapman,
Sarah Liegman, Ebony Jones,
Tiara Brown.
The fundamental mistake that Sky Nicolson is making, that these aforementioned unbeaten up-and-comers are not making, is she's being vocal about it. She's being vocal about wanting to fight Amanda Serrano, who most people think she's not ready for. I don't think any of those aforementioned fighters are really ready for Amanda. It'll take some time before they're ready for a fight like that, but Sky, unlike them...
I don't see Karis Ardingstall, for example, calling out Amanda the same way that Sky Nicolson is calling out Amanda. Raven Chapman, she did express an interest in facing Amanda down the line, but that's down the line.
Raven doesn't spend a lot of time online anyway. Her social media presence isn't as felt as Sky's, thus her posts and her call-outs are not as frequent.
There ain't that many sound bites of videos out there.
Now you can argue that because Amanda has all the belts, that she's holding all the keys to all the doors, that heavy is the head that wears the crown. People are going to come for her, but the same applies to Sky. If you feel you're ready for Amanda, there are going to be some fighters out there that feel they're ready for you.
The pendulum swings both ways, my child.
Sky's got to try to curb her enthusiasm and her ambition, as it's getting her all the wrong attention from all the wrong fighters. Tiara Brown is all wrong for Sky Nicolson.
She is.
Sky needs to further develop like any young unbeaten up-and-comer needs to further develop. She's got to curb her enthusiasm a bit, just a bit.
Save it for the camp, hotshot.
She won't address Tiara Brown directly as to not have her name attached to Tiara's.
She doesn't want that conversation to turn into a thing and let that conversation gain any traction by addressing Tiara directly and trading barbs online.
So she won't respond. She should just continue to fight in developmental fights, build herself up to facing former champions like Sarah Mahfoud and Erica Cruz, maybe Jelena Marjanovic, who's supposed to be in action early next month.
It's a good learning fight for Sky.
Maybe she should take a break from social media. ease up on the call-outs.
I like Sky Nicholson. I've got nothing against her. I just don't think she's ready for these fights.
Not for Amanda. In men's heavyweight news, veteran promoter Bob Arum had this to say on Fury vs. Usyk: the alleged Saudi money would far exceed any other place.
According to Tyson Fury's own promoter, Tyson Fury, who just the other day proposed that they do the fight at Wembley.
Resume talks, pick up where they left off, 70-30 at Wembley.
Why the fuck would they do that if the money in Saudi is better?
He being Tyson Fury, makes his own decisions about when he wants to fight. We try to facilitate that, Todd Duboff told Sky Sports. For having the best Tyson Fury in the ring, it's about frequency, and any other fighter actually. The more you fight, the more you're out there, you're razor sharp. Tyson likes to be razor sharp, that's my impression. He likes to be active. It's unfortunate we couldn't put that Usyk fight together in the time frame we all wanted to in the spring. I think he should come back in the ring, but those are his decisions. We always say he's in a better mindset when training and getting ready for a fight. And if it's for Usyk or whatever fight out there, I think it's always good to have him. He's such a great entertainer, and he's a pleasure to watch. The more he fights,
The better it is for everybody.
Now Arum, Bob Arum, he has no idea if the Fury versus Usyk fight will become a reality.
Talks aren't progressed, but there's time for those talks to happen, particularly since they're throwing out all this money that this doubleheader does take place. But I've no idea at all whether it's realistic. No idea. Again, the money that allegedly the Saudis would put up for that fight far exceeds the money that the fight is gonna earn any place else in the world. Whether it happens that they put it up and that the fight takes place, or they don't put it up and the fighters have to maximize revenue, that will determine where the fight goes. I'm not optimistic. I'm not pessimistic. It's a crazy question. It's out of my hands, you understand? I don't have the money the Saudis have, so I can't talk about the willingness of someone in a country to put up the money that's being talked about. So what do I know? I'm not gonna be optimistic or pessimistic.
In the in between time, Tyson Fury himself has heavy interest to fight in Australia, and he's looking at unbeaten southpaw and Australian Dempsey Mckean as a possible foe. Those in the know that Dempsey is a matchroom fighter.
Though I don't think they'd let that stop him. I don't think Matchroom would stand in the way of an opportunity like this.
Tyson Fury has whisked off to Australia to visit his old buddy Joseph Parker in what is his Australian debut, and we talked about that debut here on the channel. Tyson Fury stated, "I'm definitely keen. It may even be my next fight. Over here," Fury said, "I just haven't got an opponent yet, so we're going to figure it out. Over the next few days, we're going to be traveling around to a few different states and looking at some potential venues for my next fight." Australians are always crazy boxing fans, so it would be great to get the Gypsy King down under.
Top Rank has connections in Australia.
They did the Jeff Horn versus Manny Pacquiao fight down there.
Yeah.
They did the two Devin Haney versus George Kambosos fights down there. So if Tyson Fury had a genuine interest in fighting in that region of the world, I feel like they could make it happen.
Though I also get the sense that Tyson Fury's down there not just to visit Joseph, but to get away from things.
He's quickly become a social pariah, which harkens back to what he was going through back in 2015, circa 2016. He wasn't nobody's sweetheart in those days.
Don't seem like he's nobody's sweetheart now.
Earlier this year, Dempsey Mckean was a frontrunner to face two-time world champion Anthony Joshua. The British star would instead select Jermaine Franklin as the opponent of choice. Chats began some time ago for Dempsey to fight Tyson Fury in Australia, and I think Dempsey is the best option for the Gypsy King, DiCarlo told News Corp. We're certainly keen to do the fight. We've had a good association with Matchroom, Mckean's promoters, and we have a great respect for Eddie Hearn. But I'll have more talks with Fury.
Fury's camp and see where that takes us.
If Tyson Fury wants to fight in Australia, the logical option is to fight an Aussie fighter.
But why does he want to fight in Australia, though? Why not the United Kingdom?
I know there's a bubbling boxing scene over there in Australia, a good domestic one, and many good fighters coming out of that region of the world. But Tyson Fury, who's supposed to be this big fucking draw,
He's supposed to be the A-side to every man, woman, and his dog in the United Kingdom. Why isn't he bringing Dempsey Mckean there? Why does he want to outsource the fight to Australia?
If Tyson Fury wants to fight in Australia, the logical option is to fight an Aussie fighter. And talking to Fury's people, they don't want to fight a small heavyweight. Dempsey and Justice are Australia's best heavyweights, but Dempsey is a 6'6".
6'6", and he's a southpaw.
He would present a real test for Tyson. We've been given a possible date to fight Fury in August, so hopefully we can make it happen. And the fight would presumably be aired here in America by way of Top Rank and ESPN, BT in the UK.
Why not the UK, though? Why not America?
Last week it seemed like Tyson Fury was at odds with Bob Arum.
With Top Rank saying deliver him the fight that he was owed or return him his contract. That's what he said by way of his Instagram stories.
Does that have anything to do with Tyson Fury now looking to fight in Australia as opposed to America? And if you're such a big fucking draw in the UK, then why aren't you fighting there?
Could be because he pissed too many fucking people off.
People in the UK, perhaps he feels that unless he's going to deliver them an Usyk fight or a Joshua fight, they're not going to show up and show out.
When they don't, that'll show up in the numbers.
Situation finally rearing its ugly head. People have grown tired of Tyson Fury's shenanigans, so it's almost like he's looking for a fresh start. That's how this reads. In a market he doesn't normally fight in, the Australian market.
Because perhaps they're not as fed up with Tyson Fury's shenanigans as the Brits might be, or the Americans.
I got other stuff to worry about. Wallabies, dingoes, and hunter spiders.
All gallus.
To them, it's a bit of an occasion. You know, an international fighter like a Tyson Fury, a world-class boxer like that, boxing in their neck of the woods.
Against one of their own, their unbeaten up-and-comer, unbeaten southpaw, Dempsey Mckean.
Good dimensions for the weight, good mobility. He's actually pretty good. Snappy punches.
Though hardly what I expected.
No idea that Tyson Fury was looking at this guy.
No idea that anything is going to materialize from this. We'll just have to wait and see.
And finally, in men's lightweight news, Devin Haney says, I feel like I'm number one pound for pound after performance against a guy who was once number one.
Though he's not anymore.
Even before the fight, Vasyl Lomachenko was not hailed as the number one pound for pound fighter in the sport going into it. I fought by far the toughest competitor I've fought, a future Hall of Famer. Haney said during his post-fight press conference, I fought a different fight than you guys ever saw me fight. I took it to him, invested in the body, hurt him to the body, showed my versatility in the ring. I felt that I definitely, proved myself, and that I am one of the best fighters in the world. I feel like I'm number one pound for pound with that type of performance. I did against, at one point, the guy who was number one pound for pound.
Devin Haney may find a shortage of individuals agreeing with him, hailing him as the number one pound for pound fighter in the sport. I think that's between three guys not named Devin Haney.
Three guys primarily. Maybe it's Alexander Usyk for some. Maybe it's Naoya Inoue to others. Maybe it's Terrence Crawford. Maybe it's Canelo Alvarez. Between those 3 or 4 guys, between them.
Not Devin. Not behind Saturday's performance.
I proved myself tonight against, a future Hall of Famer. And I'm the guy in the weight class, Haney said. So it's like, how much more do you guys want me to prove? It's like you guys want me to keep proving and proving and proving and proving until I can't prove anymore. I've been at 135 since I was 16 years old. We've got to see what's next, but eventually, I'm gonna move up.
And eventually, people are gonna have to come to terms with the fact that a lot of people don't think Devin won that fight, and nothing is gonna change their minds. Devin Haney himself once said that Vasyl Lomachenko is too old and too small.
So he can turn around sometime later and claim that he's number one pound for having beaten him.
Even though a lot of people aren't convinced that he actually did beat him.
Those of you out there still pretending that Saturday's outcome wasn't controversial at all, that it was a clear win, a clear victory for Devin Haney, you may find a large abundance of individuals who disagree.
Bob Arum said it seems strange to have all American officials for a fight between an American and a Ukrainian.
Devin Haney's supporters still want to be in denial about all of this. The attention, the negative attention this fight is getting.
The decision.
That's a question that should be asked of the commission. They appoint the judges. When one side objects to a judge, they generally change them. In this case, they wouldn't change them. It seems sort of strange to me when you have an American fighting a Ukrainian and all officials are American. I mean, it doesn't happen that way any other place in the world. But again, That's not my pay grade. I'm a promoter, and the commission runs things in Nevada.
Igor Klimas of Team Lomachenko protested Dave Moretti's involvement. Dave Moretti, who scored the fight wide in Devin Haney's favor, wider than anybody else, wider than the other two judges.
That's why he's getting most of the heat for all of this.
Most of the negative attention, while there is still a substrata of individuals out there pretending that this fight's outcome wasn't at all controversial in spite of all the negative attention it's getting, claiming that we're living in an echo chamber.
So here's the skinny.
Nobody's expecting that the decision in Saturday's fight is going to get overturned based on how much people complain. We know that it's not.
Decisions rarely ever get overturned in the sport of boxing. It seldom ever happens.
Though because it seems an injustice to so many people that took in this fight and let their opinions be heard.
You can keep playing dumb if you want to. You can keep playing dumb pretending that all these people out there don't exist. These pundits,
these pugilists, and some of these celebrities, content creators like myself, you can pretend that all of us aren't out here saying what we're saying, though moving forward, the hard feelings over this decision, they will be felt when Devin Haney doesn't get the praise, the accolades.
When he don't get the plaudits that you think he deserves based on his work so far.
It'll be you guys that start belly aching.
Not us.
And being in denial about it really won't help.
Curious who Devin Haney will end up facing next. Will he end up facing the winner of Lopez versus Taylor, provided it's Teofimo Lopez? They can sell a fight like that. It has commercial value.
So let's hope we don't get another decision like this one when it comes to that fight. Let's hope the winner, whoever it is, wins legitimately in the eyes of the spectators in what is the spectator sport.
You want to keep pretending that you don't need those people on your side, but you do.
A vocal minority online, a substrata of fight fans who want to pretend that this outcome wasn't controversial.
Those people can only get you but so far.
It won't be long before those same people start complaining about how Devin is underappreciated, undervalued. He's not being revered in all the ways they would like him to be.
I don't think Devin is a bad fighter. I think he's a good fighter, one of the best. But what I don't think is that he won Saturday's fight.
There's more people that feel like me than you.